So in today's video, I want to talk about how we can use AI to create high converting headlines and descriptions that we can use for our Google Ads today, and some frameworks that we found to work very well that you can implement today to make a massive improvement in your headlines and descriptions. So we need to understand with AI, what I'm talking about is ChatGPT, Perplexity, and by inputting prompting, which is just what you want from the platform. Things like, can you create me 10 headlines based around this URL for Google Ads? By adding in a prompt like that, you'll get some information back, but it's just not enough detail. So the idea of prompting and the whole idea of creating this video is that you can understand by giving more prompting, which is more understanding to what we ask in the AI to do, plus ourselves a better understanding as well. Then we're going to get better information out. Almost think as AI as an assistant. If you had an assistant, would you just say, write me 10 headlines based on this URL? You wouldn't. You would give a little bit more understanding, the company name. You would talk about core customers, your competitors. You would talk a lot more. I'd like the creation of these headlines descriptions to be around benefits, features, advice, whatever it is, by giving more detail. And that's what I'm trying to say. You've got to understand that the more we can give the platforms, then the better we're going to get information wise that we can then implement for our Google Ads. Plus, we also have the experience of ourselves. So we don't necessarily need to use everything coming back from AI. We can use parts of it. But then from there, we can also put our experience into creating those headlines and descriptions. So having a mixture of AI, but also of our experiences as advertisers as well. So that's the kind of overall arching feature of what we're trying to achieve when we're creating high converting headlines and descriptions for our Google Ads. So let's now jump into the first prompt, and then from there we can actually run through the first example. So here's the first prompt that we're going to actually input into ChatGPT. I've done this previously, so we can actually run through this quickly. So the prompt is, you are a skilled direct response copywriter specializing in creating high performing Google Ads. Your task is to craft responsive search ads, which is just a search ad following the business website URL. So we need to input the website URL here, and then it will look for business name, core servicing, ideal customers, give me a summary of the above. So what I want is I want it to give me a summary, so I as an advertiser know the company before it then writes headlines, which is basically benefits, outcomes, and response to click. Each headline must be, so follow this, 30 characters or fewer, written in a short phrase or hook, no sentence. Each description must be 90 characters, which if you're running Google Ads, you know that these are the maximum amount of characters that you can input into Google Ads. And always with prompting, please follow the steps above and don't miss anything. Sometimes with these platforms, they can skip a few things. So I always put this at the bottom to make sure that they follow. The company that I'm going to be using today is IH Flooring Company based in Bristol and Bath. They're a flooring company. So I haven't really looked at the website. So all I've done is inputted the prompt. So you can see the prompt we've just read. Here's the website, and then we've got the details. So let's have a little look. So business name, IH Flooring, core services. We've got a nice update of core services. So supply and installation of wood flooring, solid engineered parquet, supply of, and we've got some more details, sanding, supply and fitting carpet rugs, commercial flooring. So straight away, we've got an update on the core services, ideal customer, homeowners, property renovators in Bristol surrounding. So again, we know who the ideal customers are, key selling points, things we could start building out, headlines and descriptions. And again, now I'll create those 10 headlines, 30 characters each, 5 descriptions, 90 characters each. Straight away, we've got some good detail. And again, maximum of 30 characters. Sometimes you may find when you're taking these and putting them onto your Google Ads that they can potentially be slightly longer. So just be wary of that. Sometimes the ChatGPTs, Perplexities can go slightly over. So just double check to make sure that you're within that character maximum limit. But straight away, we've got some good description and headlines based on some core details. But straight away, you've got the core details. You know, ideal customer, key selling points, core services. And how long did that take? That would have taken probably 2 or 3 minutes to do. So straight away, you've got some good details. You've got some headlines, descriptions. Would you like me to tailor the next version? So it's asking us now to luxury vinyl tiles. So again, you can continue to build this out, which is the key factor to what this is trying to achieve, which is to have an understanding of the business. Then we can write the headlines and descriptions. By doing that, we're adding layers to what we're trying to do. And also we're having an understanding of the business for ourselves as advertisers. Like I said, we don't need to use all of AI. We can, as advertisers, if we're experienced or we want to put different angles, different features, advantage, benefits, whatever you want to do, you can also add these. These are a core structure that you can add in, but we can also use our experiences as humans to also layer on to what we're trying to achieve with this particular understanding. So we've done the option one, which is simple but limited ad creation. Still okay, but what I want to do now is move on to option two, detailed website data collection. So this is now where we're asking a lot more. We're layering on the information. And this is what we want to focus on, is asking a better question, giving better prompts to get better information. So if you had an assistant with you, you wouldn't just give one sentence, say, go ahead and do something based on one sentence. You would have a conversation. And this is what we're going to try and do now with our ChatGPT. Based on these prompts, we're going to layer on some information, some questions, and then we're going to get some information back, and then we're going to continue adding in on the prompt. So what we want to do is, the first one is detailed website data collection, general website analysis. So what we're going to do is put the website URL, provide the following information. Again, I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can see this. Like I said, I'm going to share this document in the description below. But provide the following information to help create marketing material around main list of services, target market, who the company serves, unique selling proposition, USBs, and then some other bits of key information. So we're only going to go up to this, any other relevant details about the business. We're not going to come to step two just yet. So I've got this all queued up. So browse this, again, the same website, same example, new page. So forget about step one. We're now, sorry, the first analysis we did, we're just going to focus on the step two analysis, or the stage two of what we want to do. So new prompting. And again, if we click this in, you can see that ChatGPT is now going through what we've asked of it. So again, what we should be seeing is a lot more information, a lot more detail coming through from ChatGPT. Main list of offering, a lot more detail. Target market, who they serve, homeowners in Bristol, Bath and Southwest region. Commercial clients in the Southwest, again, a bit more detail. Unique selling points, we never had that before. Again, we're getting a lot more granular information. Family run business with over 25, 30 years of experience in the flooring industry, specializing in hard floor. So again, more unique selling points. Advantages of choosing the company over competitors. So again, we can see here, we're creating some features, advantages and benefits. Primary motivation for potential customers. So we're getting more layered information. And even if you're not using this prompt for headlines and descriptions, even if you just put this in, you as an advertiser will get a lot more information that you could literally generalize. So you can look at a website, put it in, get this information, and then from there you can make some better informed decisions about a number of key factors that you wanted to improve with the website or landing page based on this information. Major benefits associated with these features. So again, you can see other relevant details about the business. So straight away, we've got a lot more detail, and it's a lot more understanding of the website that we're looking to advertise for, to add those headlines and descriptions. So let's come back to the prompt. So we've done the first prompt. So now we come to step two, advanced data analysis. So what we want to do is we want to copy and paste this second prompt. So you are a skilled direct response copywriter who specializes in creating high converting, high click-through rate Google ads. So now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. I'm telling ChatGPT, or whatever platform you're using, I want high converting. See the language I'm using, it's precise, it knows exactly, there's no sort of like gray areas with this. I'm telling it exactly what I want. This is what I want. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take the information from the step one and we're going to input it here. And then we're going to continue on with the steps below, which is the campaign's main goal, primary focus. Each of the headlines must be between 24 and 30 characters. So again, we're giving a lot more information. This section here, if you're new to advertising, always keep your language simple, so it's simple to understand. When people start to see complex language patterns, they may not, or they generally tend not to click on your ad. So keep it like a fourth grader, keep it simple. Make sure you understand what you're advertising, but also make sure the potential customers who are seeing your ads also understand what you're advertising. So that's why I put keep this in as a fourth level grade language pattern. Don't overcomplicate. Don't try and be smart, because We just need to get what the features, advantages, benefits, whatever you're trying to do with your Google Ads, just be focused on what you're trying to do and just keep it simple. And by doing this checklist, that's what we're saying to ChatGPT. Just follow the checklist step by step. So what we need to do now is let's copy this section here right the way down to the bottom. And then here we got, please follow steps and don't miss anything. Again, I always tell ChatGPT not to miss any of my steps. We'll paste that in. Now we've got this section here, enter ChatGPT from step 1. So the one we've just done, which is this, what we want to do is we want to copy all of this. And then what I'm going to do is copy step 1. So we're going to come up to this section. We're going to copy it. And then what we're going to do, enter chat from step 1. We're going to get rid of this section here. And then all I'm going to do is paste that in. So now we've got all the section 1 included. So all of everything we've done, let's come to the top. Everything in step 1 is now included here, plus the additional prompts. This is where we start layering on the information. We're building upon the first set of prompts. The reason I don't do this in one go is because sometimes chat will miss sections and not understand. By doing it in stages, you're making sure that the chat, the Perplexity, whatever you're using, follows step by step. Sometimes it can skip, it can miss things. I don't know why. That's why I always do it in steps and just build it out. And then from there, we can continue to build out what we're trying to achieve. So again, from here, insert primary focus. We're focusing on a flooring company. So I've put that into the chat already. So from here, we have entered that, we click on, and now what ChatGPT will obviously go through the information that we required. And now it's come back with a question. For example, should your ads promote flooring services, wood flooring, luxury vinyl? So what we're going to do, we're going to say, okay, chat, let's include flooring services general. And again, once we've done this, we can always come back and go to wood flooring installation, luxury vinyl, carpet. You can start building out these. And this is how you create ad groups within Google. The example I've got now is for a flooring company. But this could be for an e-commerce company. This is how you break out the sections based on how the website or landing pages are built. If it's a website and you've got multiple tabs, you can build it out like this for your ad groups based around the campaigns. It's just understanding what you want and how you want to structure it. And you need to make sure that the structure is based on the easiest way to do Google Ads is to follow how the website, if you've got landing pages, it's going to be different. But it's fine to run ads to a website. And then from there, you can do that based on the headers at the top of the page. So we're going to just focus on flooring services. And then I'm just going to put that in here. And then we're going to enter that. So it's hit a block and it's asking me a question. Now, what it's saying is perfect. Here are headlines focused on flooring services for I hate flooring between 24 and 30 characters. Perfect. Quality flooring, expert fitters you can trust. They're pretty good, not bad. So now what we want now, it's done that. Are we happy with it? Yes. Let's move on to the next section. All 15 are within 24 to 30 characters. Always double check to make sure. If you copy and paste these sometimes into Google, they may go over by 1 or 2. So it's just a glitch. It's one of those things, but it's no biggie. Again, would you like us to narrow the top performing options before writing descriptions? So let's focus on descriptions. So we'll go. Let's ask it to do the descriptions. And then 75 to 90 characters. Again, if you're writing headlines, it's going to be up to 30 characters. If you're writing descriptions, it's going to be up to 90 characters. Performance Max campaigns is going to vary, as well as demand gen campaigns. So again, we've got some good quality descriptions. Again, you need to make sure that these are within the 90 characters. Sometimes they can go over, and we just need to just double check ourselves. But you can see here, each one focused on clear, simple benefits and strong customer motivation. So these are pretty good. And then all are done, align perfectly with the foreign campaign goals. Would you like me to do a final review? Let's put yes. And this is the best way. A prompt, you check it, and then ChatGPT will ask you, can I move on to the next section? You could then correct if it's wrong or say yes. And you can see here straight away, overall fit campaign goal, giving a little bit more detail. And again, a little bit more detail. And we can see here, would you like me to build the full response layout? pinning suggestions, headlines, order, best performing combinations. So it's ready to paste into Google Ads. Let's put yes. So again, we've done this into sections. We've built it out. If there's any mistakes, we can correct it. And remember, this is just for one of the potential ad groups. We can then go back and circle back to different parts or different themes based around the website, the landing page, and the keyword themes that we're targeting. This is how you build the keyword themes in Google. It's not rocket science, but if you understand what you're doing, if you have a roadmap of what you're trying to achieve with your Google, this is one of the best ways of using AI, because we're given it clear instructions and we know exactly what we want to do. So let's make sure that we're following some sort of a structure. Don't just blindly put a sentence into into a ChatGPT or Perplexity and hope that's going to give us this level of detail, because it won't. How will it? It just won't. Now, with all this information, what I do is, there we go. Look, it's got some style and durability, main CTA, trust and signal. It's given us a lot of nice detail, telling us which ones to pin. Again, we can definitely go ahead and make some adjustments if we're not happy, or we want to create different themes. Maybe you want to do some humor. Again, that's another little tip, something that we add in a little bit of humor, just to make our ads a little bit different. So you can look at the competitors using AI, and also just using our own experience as advertisers. We can add in our own touch of headlines and descriptions and then create different themes. So you don't want just benefits for your headlines and just benefits for your descriptions. Have 2 or 3 benefits, then look at some different things, some call to actions. Again, we can do that through AI as a structure, but we can also use our own experiences, especially if we're experienced in a specific niche. So use AI, but also use your experience as a person as well. Combine the both to create the best experience for somebody who's going to come onto your ads based on your click-through rate, what you're trying to achieve, what your messaging is around headlines and descriptions. Combining all of that will give you a higher probability. And remember, whatever we're doing in Google, we're always testing. Test is the most important thing. No matter what you're told by people like myself or other advertisers, you should always be testing yourself, always be split testing, trying different headlines, trying different descriptions. The only time that you would pin a headline, 2 or 3 headlines or 3 headlines and descriptions, would be if it's in a niche that you have to. I've seen this a number of times when I audit accounts, and it does not make sense to me why advertisers would pin 3 headlines and a description for an industry that does not need it to be pinned. You want to give Google the opportunity to rotate, because how do you know? How do you know? There's thousands of combinations of headlines and descriptions. So how would you know what the best headlines and descriptions, especially if you're an advertising agency and you have no experience, or you can have a lot of experience, but still you need to test, because there's always going to be new ways or new things that people are looking for from the headlines and description. You can have your core that are working, but always test the fringe, because you don't know. You might get a high converting headline or a description that can potentially give you a big increase in your click-through rate, conversion rate, and ultimately the amount of conversions you're getting. So what I'm saying is, just don't be lazy. Don't let AI do everything for you. Use your own understanding of what you need to do to get the best results, which is always to split test. Test is always the key thing with Google. And Google now gives us the information through the asset level for the ads to know exactly what the metrics that we are needing for headlines and descriptions, whereas before it used to be, okay, good. Now it gives us, you can see click-through rates, you can see conversion rates, you can see clicks, impressions, so much more detail. So there's no excuse now for us not to be making the most of our headlines and descriptions. Headlines that work, we leave them. Headlines that don't work, don't have the metrics coming back, just pause them and reintroduce new ones. Test it. You now know a way of doing it. And if you like this type of content and you would like me to audit your account, or for us to do your Google Ads for you, fill out the form below. I look at a number of accounts on a weekly basis, and it's one of my favorite things I like to do is audit accounts and have conversations with owners of businesses to see how we can better improve. And just by having some sort of a structure, and you can see the detail that goes into writing headlines and descriptions, and what we need to do to implement a split test on a consistent basis. If that's something of interest, I'd love to have a chat with you. So if you fill out the form below, we can jump onto a 30-minute, just a conversation as we're doing now, and then we could potentially see if there's ways that I could show you you could improve your Google Ads or potentially work together.